Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Anna Crossland. Today we are reviewing the So Jaded palette, which is the newest collab that Kathleen Lights and ColourPop have done. It is also their very first mega palette, which retails for $39, which is pretty expensive for ColourPop, but you're getting 30 shadows, so that's quite a bit of shadows. My hair is in braids today because my hair is drenched because I just got out of the shower, and so I was like, I'll just put them in braids so it looks somewhat presentable. I like never wear braids, so it's kind of weird. But speaking of hair, you guys, I've been taking these new gummies. This is not a sponsored video from Heartbreaker Gummies, but I have loved these gummies so much, so let me look them up real quick. So they're called Heartbreaker Gummies, and they're for hair, skin, and nails, and it has biotin, folic acid, vitamin A, and it comes with 60 in a bottle, which you take 2 a day, but they are soy-free, cruelty-free, and gluten-free, and this is what they look like. I finished mine while we were in Florida. It is the only bottle that I've ever finished for hair, because normally I take the pills and I'm like, I forget about it, I guess. And these, I did not forget about it. First of all, these gummies are shaped like little hearts and they taste like strawberry and they're delicious. So like one day I was like eating them and I almost just like kept eating them because I was like, this tastes so good. But of course the taste is not gonna be like the reason why people buy this. Like, people are gonna want to know if it works, and it does. My hair did grow. I did get a haircut since then, but I met up with my parents in Florida, and my mom, who had seen me a month ago, was like, your hair is so long. And then also our nephew, he noticed that my hair had gotten really long too. Also, another very important thing is that my nails were very fragile and starting to crack, and they had then stopped cracking. Now I do have a code that I'll share with you down below to save you some money, but for one bottle it's $29.99. and they are delicious. So I will link them down below for you guys. And again, this isn't sponsored, but they did send me those to talk about them with you guys, and they're so delicious. They're so good. So I will link those down below. Now let's get into the up closeness of this palette in all its glory. I love the packaging on this. I love that she decided to make it crystal themed. I think crystals are definitely in right now, so I really love the packaging. I love all the shades included in here. I think it gives you a very nice variety. I think it's also nice to have a step away from completely warm tone palette, so there's quite a bit of more cool tones, which I can definitely appreciate and get on board with. There's a ton of shimmers in here, which I love, and then there are enough mattes, I feel like, for your crease ends to deepen, but there is no super deep dark brown or black, so some people might not love that. I tried to do the swatches so that you could see them grouped by shade, because if you're anything like me, when you look at a palette, sometimes it's overwhelming to be like, what colors go together, or what look am I going to create with this? So I tried to do it so that it kind of made a little bit more sense. I even mapped it out before I started swatching so that you could see. This does have 2 pressed glitters in it as well. There were a couple of patchy shades, specifically turquoise and sapphire, but the rest of them seem to perform pretty nicely. I love the way the swatches turned out. I think that most of them performed really well. Some of the shades were a little bit patchy, but some of those shades are also ones that are normally kind of patchier shades that you have to build up. But specifically the blue, I think, was the worst, which is sapphire. That one, no matter how much I built up, it just was patchy. So I couldn't get it to a crazy full intensity. None of them felt gritty. They all felt very soft, which sometimes ColourPop brownie red shades are very gritty, but these ones I didn't seem to have that problem. So I did do a tutorial on this look, so if you want to see how I did it, then just keep watching. No idea what I'm going to do with this palette, but I'm really excited. There's a lot of beautiful colors, and I think we'll end up doing some more tutorials in the future with it. Today we do have some errands to run though, so I don't know how crazy I'm truly going to go with this look, but sometimes I say that and then it ends up being crazy. I don't know. So we're gonna start off with my Precious. Lately I've been doing this so that the colors can blend easier together. Next we're going to go in the shade called Rose Quartz. Very nice natural like crease color. Like you could even use this as one of those if you're trying to do the winged liner and natural look, kind of like Audrey Hepburn look, I guess. Next we're going to go into Ametrine, and this one is kind of like a purpley brown shade. It is one of those matte shades that have little glitters in it. It doesn't really bother me that much, but I remember I posted a picture on Instagram not that long ago and people were like, oh, I hate those matte glitter shades, which I get it. Like there's kind of not too much of a point in them, but it's okay. It doesn't bother me that much. I'm gonna take Ametrine under. I think to deepen it up a little bit, we are going to go into Jasper, which is this brown shade. I'm going to take some of that under the eye as well. Of course, again, not worried about fallout because I don't have my foundation on yet. That's the best part. I think we're going to go into Alexandrite, which is this purple here. It's a deep purple. I have no idea what it's going to be like. But first I'm going to try not using it wet to see what kind of payoff we can get. As you can see, it's okay, but you guys know what I'm going to do. I'm going to wet my brush. So here's the difference. Not wet. And here it is. Wet. Okay, like I like the tone of it and everything, and I like that it does have like dimension to it. It's not just like a flat purple, but I mean it's not really blowing my socks off. It's kind of just not that crazy beautiful, honestly. It's just like okay. I wish if you're gonna do like a duochrome shade, I just wish it had more intensity to it. I feel like this doesn't have that much, like it's just not shimmery really. It's performing almost like a satin. But luckily there are some things in here that we can do to make it more shimmery. I'm gonna try Stoned. This is nothing to do with her. I should not have used that shade for all over the lid. It was just not an impressive all over the lid type of shade. That's a little bit saddening, but it's okay. Luckily this is first impressions where we live and we learn, and I've learned that I don't know if I'll really be reaching for that shadow. Fortunately I decided to make it the star of the show all over my lid, and it's just not the best shadow in this palette. Let's first try putting Smoky Quartz on the inner third. This one's like a beautiful taupey looking shade. Try taking some of Fluorite to the center. This one's like a duochrome purple but a lighter shade. Pop that in the center a little bit. I think we're going to use the glitter opal just here on the inner part of the eye. This glitter is gorgeous. I find that I like these glitters. Like you guys hear me complain sometimes about their pressed glitters. Some of them are good and some of them are kind of like too chunky, and I feel like these ones aren't like the super chunky that just fall out all over the place. Like I don't feel like I necessarily need a glitter glue for this one, but to each their own. Okay, so that glitter is super pretty. I have a few of these rhinestones that I actually got from Target from their Halloween section. If you were to use these for like actual Halloween, I'd like glue it on with some eyelash glue, but just for the sake of this tutorial, why not? I think they're just fun. They're really pretty. I think they were like $2, so it wasn't that bad. I don't know, should we like do them different? Now I feel like I should have added more to this side. Now I feel like this side is just not like a happy side. As you can tell, I'm going to need to play with this palette more. This is a first impressions and I just feel like I wish I used some different shades. I feel like if you're trying to just do a regular everyday like shimmer on the lid and color in the crease, it'll be fine. I'm disappointed in some of these shades, specifically the duochromes disappoint me. I want my duochromes to be extremely shiny so that you can really see that shift and you don't have to search for it. And I feel like the duochromes in here, you kind of have to search for it, and they're not shimmery. They're almost more like a satin finish, especially Alexandrite, which I used, and then again fluorite. So a little bit disappointed, especially since I've seen ColourPop do some really intense soft duochrome shades. These ones just didn't live up to my expectations. I feel like if they were at that expectation, they would really change up a look, because even when I used it wet, it's still just like flat. It didn't give me the awesomeness that I was hoping for. I do appreciate these types of pressed glitters, because if you've ever watched any of my other ColourPop tutorials, some of them are just really like not pressed very well and kind of just chunky and flying up out of the palette, and these ones are not like that. I felt like I didn't really need a base, which of course you do if you want to minimize fallout. I'm gonna get a little bit of fallout, but the really chunky ones that are all over the palette, those ones are just way too messy and they just like flop off my eye, and you literally have to use a glitter glue. Obviously you want to make sure if you're feeling safe with using glitter, and I feel a lot safer using these types where they're a little bit less chunky and fallouty. I think that this palette is great for someone who wants to branch a little bit out of their regular just browns and maybe focus on some cool tones, maybe adding a few pops of color. But I feel like it's not someone who's trying to make a crazy intense look. I feel like you could if you really tried, but I feel like for the most part it's a little bit more toned down. So even though there's some colors here and there, I feel like you could still implement it into a very neutral look. I love that there's a lot of cool tones in here, because we do tend to see a lot of warm tone palettes and we have a lot in our collection, and so this is just bringing something a little bit different to the table. I'm gonna have to play around with it more to say if it's something that I feel like you must have. I'm worried that since those duochromes were not shiny, I'm worried now that some of the deeper shimmers are not going to be intense either, and that is my like uh-oh. I know the lighter ones are shimmery and metallic, but now I'm just like, I'm worried about those deeper shimmers. Like, are they going to impress me? I really do hope so. So I will have to play around with this more, but I think it's still a beautiful palette. It does look like 10 times prettier when you receive this. You'll open it and you'll be like, wow, it's just so rich in color and beautiful. Let me know if there are any more looks you want to see with this palette, specifically which colors you'd like me to use. I think the greens would be beautiful. I also think it'd be really pretty to use, yeah, the greens I think are some of my favorites that I'm really excited to use. I was excited for the purples, but well, we all saw what happened with this one. Yeah, so let me know down below if you have any more ideas that you want to see. Did you get this palette? Do you love it? What's your favorite shade? Let me know all those awesome things. Don't forget that I do have a Naked Honey palette giveaway going on my channel right now, so make sure you go check that out. I will link it somewhere up here so you can go ahead and enter that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe if you like my videos, and like this video if you liked it. Thank you. Bye.